Well, you've already heard what we had to say in our earlier episode with AEW Dynamite. So how would NXT compare? Find out as we review WWE NXT for the week of October 9th, 2019 on WrestleDOWN. Hey guys, are you ready for your hot tag? Because if you are, it's definitely time to work.
I'm addictive and expensive. Byron Wilcott. And I'm watching WGS-TV.
It wasn't as high pitched this time. What's going on?
They would have to watch the AEW review to find out. But anyway, guys, what's up? I'm the Wrestle Gamer. Welcome back to another episode of WrestleDOWN right here on WGS-TV. And joining me for the NXT review, guys and gals, you know him as the Studley Man, Ashley. Ashley, we got quite a few things to talk about what happened on NXT tonight.
Yeah. Tiny dicks.
Oh, God. Why did Velveteen Dream do that? But anyway, guys. The NXT Cruiserweight title was on the line. We also had a great main event with the United Kingdom champion Walter and Kushina. So let's get down right to the nitty gritty and talk about NXT.
これは三羽白クラン島です。
NXT opened with the now christened NXT Cruiserweight Championship on the line. Drew Gulak taking on Lio Rush. And I have to say it, last week, Ash, NXT started out with a bang with Adam Cole and Matt Riddle. They did the exact same thing tonight. They started out with a bang because Gulak and Lio Rush, to me, really brought a great match.
Yeah. Well, Lio Rush has to deliver because, you know, there's a lot of heat from him. You know, there's a backstage sort of, you know, the way he sort of felt that he should be dealt with when he was just the sort of manager to Lashley, despite the fact, you know, he could wrestle. Okay, he's got the gift of the gab as well, but normally you give the manager role to somebody that maybe isn't a wrestler. You know, Paul Heyman isn't a wrestler.
No.
Miss Elizabeth isn't a wrestler.
No.
Sometimes it works better when, you know, it's somebody that isn't sort of brilliant at it. You know, Heenan wrestled at times, but he was more iconic as a manager. So,
and comical at the
in
same
essence,
time.
Yes, but in essence, Leo needed a chance to sort of shine, which wasn't helped by the reputation that he had backstage on the main roster. We know there was a good wrestler in there because, I mean, that's why he got signed in the first place, because he sold a Joey Janela ladder spot in CCW. Vince was like, he sells? Sign him the fucker.
Oh, man. But when we're talking about shining, he definitely personified that in this match. And the finish for the match was Leo hitting the final hour frog splash on Gulak to pick up the win. And something interesting after the match. First off, Willie Regal was attempting to put the title on him, but then Drew Gulak came from behind. He took the title belt and he thought he was going to do something like maybe hit Leo with it or something like that. But instead, he just, you know, acted in good sportsmanship and handed the title over to Lio Rush. And I got to say, I thought it was okay. I guess Gulak is more of a tweener than a heel than I thought he was. But I still got to say, great opening match for NXT, without a doubt. Just as good as last week's one. Rhea Ripley and Aliyah. Aliyah, why are you in NXT? Why are you on my TV? What are you doing? Why should we know your name, Aliyah? Rhea Ripley squashed the fuck out of you. What are you doing
But
there?
at the same time, when Aliyah did anything, Ripley, by design, was supposed to no-sell it. Which was a bit sort of like, a shame. I know she's getting better, but the fact that it's the same woman that's been wheeled out 2 out of the last 4 weeks to act as sort of a jobber for showcasing this talent or that talent, it just seems a bit weird, considering how many other women are on that roster that are still sort of getting to grips with it and whatever, that could get the chance to get squashed by Rhea Ripley. Be it Deonna Purrazzo or Chelsea Green or, I mean, not Zia Lee, but she's been off ever since whatever happened. But, you know, there's a lot of women in developmental.
Oh, yeah.
That could be given that chance. Or even from the local, you know, indie Florida scene brought in. Like they did back in the day for sort of dark matches and what they used to do for TV tapings when it was just on the network. So why we can't do that still, I don't know.
And Rhea did end up cutting a promo after the match was over, saying that she was coming after Shayna Baszler, and keep that in mind as we get into later on in the show. Now, here at this point in the show, me and Ashley both got confused because we would hear construction music. We see 2 hot girls in hard hats and whatnot standing on the stage, and we're seeing all of these things like, what in the world is going on here? They turn the lights on, and it's fucking Breezango in construction outfits like they're the village people dancing. Now, last week when they did the fashion police thing with Kushina, yeah, it makes sense because it ties into their gimmick of being the fashion police, Breezango. Construction workers? What in the blue fuck? Who greenlit that idea? But they were supposed to take on, I think it was Evermore, the tag team.
Let me try and think. Everrise,
but they would end up getting jumped.
I just call them 3.0 because I've seen Shikara.
Yeah,
because wrestling is real.
And they would get jumped by the Forgotten Sons in Steve Cutler and Wesley Blake, and Jackson Cutter, their manager. How is this guy a manager when he's bigger than the both of them? I will say this. I thought Breezango, believe it or not, were going to go over on the Forgotten Sons and whatnot because of the fact that they made their return. They were looking hot in the ring with what they were doing in the ring. But it was not to be for Fandango and Tyler Breeze. I guess construction workers aren't their forte, as the finish of the match was the Forgotten Sons hitting the Memory Remains on Fandango to pick up the win. All I'm going to say is, Ashes, I don't know. What were they doing out there?
I guess they have to get over.
They were more over as the fashion police, though, not as construction workers.
Yeah, I mean...
If anything, they came off looking like Chippendale dancers.
But I think that's the gimmick. You know, it's the whole Magic Mike sort of deal.
Don't bring that up here. I'm gonna barf if you do.
No, that's the idea that's been presented. I would argue ever since, you know, they did it. So,
well, we had. Well, let's very quickly get to this because this one didn't last long at all. In fact, it was one move. Cameron Grimes and Boa. As for people who aren't familiar with Boa, can you tell us a little bit about him?
He's one of their signees in from China. He's been part of the NXT developmental thing that they did, you know, where Cameron Grimes came from, ironically. A few months back when they did that NXT breakout tournament thing or whatever it was called.
Mm-hmm.
So basically he's come from that. What I don't get is what happened after it.
The bell rings, Killian Dane starts coming down the ring. Everybody notices. Grimes hits the double stomp on Boa, picks up the win, escapes the ring from Killian Dane, and then Killian Dane attacks Boa. Now, why? I have no earthly idea. I mean, he's fresh off of the angle he did with Matt Riddle in that street fight from a couple of weeks ago. So what they're doing with him now, I don't know. I mean, did they really need him out there to attack Boa and get more heat on him than he already has? I mean, did they need him to look any more of a monster than he already is? To me, I just felt like they just wanted Killian Dane out there. And again, this is just my opinion. They just wanted Killian Dane out there just to be out there.
But this is just the beginning, Billy.
Which is what he said.
As in Pizza Express is dying. Please send help.
Well, anyway, let's get to a match that is definitely worth talking about. And it's Roderick Strong, the NXT North American Champion of the Undisputed Era, taking on Isaiah Swerve Scott. On paper, if you didn't know who Isaiah Swerve Scott is, you would look at this and say, "Oh, he's going against the NXT North American Champion. It's going to be a squash match. They're just going to do that to make Roderick Strong look good and whatnot." That was not the case. This match made both Roddy and Isaiah look strong. It was an amazing match, to say the least. And I gotta say, Ash, I have not seen much of Isaiah Scott, but what I saw of him tonight on NXT thoroughly impressed me.
Yeah, having seen him on the indies and whatever, Swerve is a talent. We know Roddy is a talent. So basically what I'm trying to say is we were sorted. And boy, was we sorted.
Yep, the finish of the match, the Undisputed Era came out there and it kind of distracted Isaiah, and Roddy would end up hitting the end of Heartache's backbreaker and then immediately locked on the stronghold, and Isaiah had no choice but to tap out. And then Adam Cole starts cutting a promo, mentions the word dream, and next thing you know, we see Velveteen Dream on the screen saying, "Hold on, did you say dream?" Snaps his fingers. Next thing you know, he's appearing on the platform above the NXT commentators table and says something to the effect of what Roddy Strong is really doing with the NXT North American Championship to that degree, and it's just a picture of Roddy, obviously photoshopped, of him.
Well, okay, if we get into that bit of, basically, he got the image that Strong posted of him
in the title
with
belt.
the belt.
Also, he
over
actually
his crotch.
So he actually did do that. I did not know that.
Up the day or so after winning it.
But what about the image after it, when he removed the
Well, but he, 2 weeks, I'm having a match for that belt. And when I take it away from you, people will see that you won't measure up. So what happens is we Photoshop the belt off him, and it's not like that he's got no dick or that he's got it's the fact that whatever dick might actually be there is covered up by a sort of no entry sign that's about the size of a pin.
I didn't think
which
you
then
could do
makes
that on
me
USA.
wonder, which then makes me wonder as well whether Roddy was tucking it between his legs, sort of thing, and it was actually real.
Oh,
that left me more confused. Then what got me more confused is Ciampa showing up.
Well, not really, if you think about it. I mean, he comes out to the ring, he's got the crutch as a weapon.
No, but following up some weird humor like that with something that's like actually serious.
Well, I think the way they're doing it is two members of the Undisputed Era are involved in two separate angles, and instead of having them go back out there for him to cut the promo, they would just keep the Undisputed Era out there, and immediately as soon as they were done with the build with Dream and Roddy, they have Tommaso go out there just, with the crutch, and he's sitting in the ring with the chair. He's looking at the title belt. If you remember, he named it Goldie and said, "Goldie, Daddy's home," which is him insinuating that he's going after Adam Cole for the NXT Championship. To me, that makes a lot of sense. Instead of having them go back out there and have them cut yet another promo and waste more time and whatnot.
And then it went nonsensical.
Yeah.
But the Angel Garza trying to chat up Kathy Kelly. And I'm like, wait, if Finn Balor isn't with her anymore, who's she boning now?
And then he got into the face of Tommaso Ciampa. Garza said something in Spanish.
Well, because she was more interested in getting an interview with Ciampa.
Yeah.
Rightfully so.
Garza
and then Garza's like,
said something in Spanish.
"What are you getting on my woman for?" And it's like, "You smoking that shit or something?"
And then Ciampa laid Garza out after he said something in Spanish, and Kathy Kelly said, "Do you know what he said to you?" And Ciampa was like, "I don't know." That's all we can say. He said, "I don't know."
He probably said follow Hikaru Shida on Twitter.
But they did announce that next week these two are going to be in a match. So it'll be Tommaso Ciampa's first match on NXT in, 8 months? I believe? Which is how long
yeah.
Which is, I think, about the amount of time he's been gone. Dakota Kai and Bianca Belair. Very interesting match, but from the way my viewpoint was, with all the hype package they were building up about the return of Dakota Kai, it looked like they were going to start putting some stock into Dakota Kai. And I will say this, the match wasn't really a total squash like Rhea Ripley and Aliyah was, but I was kind of surprised to see Bianca go over with the KOD on Dakota, and then she would end up cutting a promo and about Shayna Baszler and what Rhea Ripley said, and more than likely, from the way they're working this, Ash, somewhere down the line, whether it's going to be next week or in 2 weeks or whenever they do it, if they're putting together a number one contenders match, it's going to be Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley.
I guess, even though neither of them is the actual candidate, I would argue, as we said sort of last week, I think the perfect choice would be Toni Storm, because she has actual unfinished business. But whatever.
Well, anyway, let's go to our main event. A matchup that was definitely worth talking about, and that is Kushina taking on the United Kingdom champion, All Hail Walter. I gotta say, if you never had a chance to see either Kushina or Walter work a match before, then you'd have to sit down and watch this, because you would have been thoroughly entertained. I mean, Walter can
flag on the play.
Uh-oh. Do we need to go to the ref?
Yeah.
Okay, ref. All right, hold on. All right, ref, what's the call?
Personal foul, 69, offense. He was giving him the business. He played it down.
Okay, why you threw the flag, Ash?
Why are you calling him Walter?
I thought I said Walter.
You kept calling him Walter.
I could have sworn I said Walter. I could be wrong. It could be just my Cajun accent. But
yeah,
I could have sworn I said Walter. But anyway, Walter can let me just say this. If you guys thought Ric Flair had a hard chop, you've never seen Walter chop somebody. Holy shit. He can chop the feathers off of a chicken while it's alive. That's how hard of a chop this guy has.
Well, that's animal cruelty, so it better not.
Well, how about we say this? He could chop the feathers off Foghorn Leghorn.
Let's say who's the big supplier for Thanksgiving birds in America, or isn't there one?
I don't know.
Because what I'm trying to say is he's in the factory and they get that turkey and they're like, chop it, boom, and then they just stick it in the freezer to go in bloody Walgreens or whatever supermarket that you get the fresh food from.
And Kushina is not only just a great high flyer, but he is also he's got a great variant of submission holds and technical ability, which he showcased in this match. And a lot of the things they did were absolutely amazing, to say the least. I mean, you wouldn't think with Kushina being as small as he is, and Walter, how big is Walter? He's got to be at least well over 300 pounds and about 6'6", 6'7". Something along the line. 279, I think they said. They announced him at 279 or 297 or something like that. But they really made both Kushida and Walter look good.
He's billed at 6'4", 297.
Yeah, and
I'd say he's 6 foot at least, and he's verging somewhere around 300, I'd have thought, give or take. So somewhat accurate, but no doubt he's probably not as tall as actual 6'4".
No,
because
go ahead.
Left.
Kushida would attack the left arm of Walter with the, I believe it's called the hoverboard submission, which is basically it's basically like almost a hammerlock of sorts from the way it looks. But he would repeatedly go after it. In fact, they even at one point had the submission on the top rope and then did a weird variant of a suplex off the top, and it still tried to get Walter to tap out, but it didn't happen. The finish of the match was Walter connecting with a ripcord clothesline on Kushida to pick up the win. So Walter in NXT remains undefeated as Kushida suffers his first loss in his NXT career. And of course, we would have to have Imperium on stage to finish off NXT. But that's the way they build both Walter and Kushida going into this match, Ash. If you listen on commentary, they said that these were two undefeated NXT superstars going at it.
Well, Walter's undefeated because, of course, he is. Kushida was undefeated because he only had one match. Although, that being said, crossover to AEW because there has to be one at least once per show. Turns out Kushida's actually undefeated in MMA as well.
Calling Jake Hagar. Calling
you,
Jake Hagar.
It's not just you, Jake. Not just you.
Well, anyway, guys, let's go into overall score and thoughts. NXT had a solid opening with the NXT Cruiserweight Championship match with Lio Rush and Drew Gulak, and I think Rush, it was the right time for him. You know, they're starting to put some faith in him now. They put the Cruiserweight title on him now. Let's see where he goes next with this. Rhea Ripley, I don't know. I guess maybe she could be a contender against Shayna Baszler. I don't know. Isaiah Scott and Roddy Strong, I really enjoyed it. I thought that Isaiah Scott looked amazingly well the first time getting an opportunity to watch him. And of course, we all know what Roddy Strong could do. And I do love the post-match antics after the match with not only Velveteen Dream, but with Tommaso Ciampa as well. It makes sense for the build between not only Roddy and Velvet, but the build between Adam Cole and possibly Tommaso Ciampa. We still haven't really verified as to whether or not it would be Tommaso Ciampa to be challenging Adam Cole for the NXT Championship because of last week on NXT when Finn Balor made his return, which is something they hyped up all night, was the return of Finn Balor. They only did it in video packages of sorts, so I don't understand the move with that. But I will say this. Hands down match of the night. I gotta give it to Kushina and Walter. It was an amazing match, and you got to see two of the best doing what they do in the ring. But the Cruiserweight Championship is going to be a very, very close second. I can't really do any finger gestures because of this. But the Cruiserweight Championship match, a very, very close second when it comes to what I thought was the best match. I really don't have a worse match per se. Other than Aliyah, what the fuck are you doing on TV? That's all I'm going to say. But my overall score, I'm going to give it... I have to see. We said it on the AEW review. They had a strong opening, but kind of a convoluted finish. NXT had a strong opening and a strong finish. 3.5 out of 5. Ash, over to you.
Just because I'm sitting on the fence with that fence right up my backside, I'm 3.5 on this one as well. When matching my AEW review, spoilers in case you're watching this out of order or whatever. It delivered. It was very strong. Arguably had better matches, but then, the Velveteen Dream thing, I'm literally on the... Well, not literally, because I like to keep my ass intact. I understand No, but what I'm trying to say is... I was trying to say I'm on the fence about it as well, because I understand the humor, but at the same time, I'm like, why are we going sort of that direction when it sort of didn't need to? If they'd have done sort of a Photoshop with sort of like somebody's face actually covering sort of, maybe it'd be sort of if it was Adam Cole's face, because of how much he is, sucking up to the Undisputed Era sort of thing. Would have made more sense than a tiny little bloody no entry sign. Or a censor sign, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, right to censor. Why didn't I say that? Best match? Ooh. I would say best matches.
Matches.
I can't split them. The opening match for the NXT Cruiserweight title, the main event, and the one you had right in the middle with Strong and
Isaiah Scott.
Swerve. Strong and Swerve. Worst? I have to say Cameron Grimes, because all these quick matches that he's having just keeps reminding me of some bloke called Corbin.
Oh, no.
That had a very similar introduction when it was like countdown how long the match goes. And I hope they don't try and do the same thing, because Trevor Lee is better than that.
I agree.
Especially when he was putting the finger up at Dave Meltzer on that shoot interview that he was doing when Dave was making fun of Impact, and Trevor was just like...
Well, anyway, guys and gals, that's been our thoughts on NXT this week. We want to know from you guys out there, the viewers and subscribers, your thoughts on NXT. What are your overall scores? What are your picks for best and worst match or segment of NXT this week? We definitely want to hear what you guys have to say. Be sure you put your comments in the comment section below. If you guys like this video, be sure you slam that like button, like a champ. And if you guys want to see more of WrestleDOWN right here on WGS-TV, you know the two ways you got to do it. You got to leg drop the subscribe button and hit that bell icon to turn on notifications. That way you guys will never miss out on another video right here on my channel. So with my special thanks to the Studley Man Ashley, I'm your friendly neighborhood wrestling gamer, reminding all of you guys out there to just stay awesome. Bye, guys!
Right, I'm getting my dick out. There it is.
Oh my god!
The way he waves it as well.
Ash, I'm recording. 3.
Good.
I'm gonna cut it out. 3, 2, 1.
What's up, the John Squad?
Wait.
This is John.
That's how we start. Take 2. Ah, straight face. That's all I need. I just needed those 20 seconds. I'm like waving it as if it's magic. I have a magic envelope. Like